Hi, Professor. This is going to be my video for our final project. So I'm just going to get into the stretches that I'm going to be doing, explain the form briefly, explain obviously what muscles I'm stretching, what I'm calling the stretch, and I will go ahead and begin now. First, I'm going to start off with the neck stretch. It's going to be an isometric neck stretch, which means I'm not going to be moving my head at all. I'm just going to be pushing into my hand. This is going to be an isometric neck rotation, left, right. Normally you do both sides. I'm probably just, I'll demo both in this video. So I'm going to start turning left, and I'm going to keep my hand stopping me from turning left. I'm using about 20% of my force right now. And then I'll switch sides. Now I'll try and turn right, but my hand's going to stop me. This is an isometric neck stretch. Again, I'm trying to turn laterally. Rotate. Next is an isometric extension. This can be done up against a wall. That'll be one of my modifications for later. Just going to come right here, take my hand behind my head, and it's going to hold it in place. I'm going to use about 20%, 35 seconds for this isometric neck stretch. Done, just like that. Make sure I'm not missing one. Extension, wall lunge. Okay, so next I have a chest stretch. So let me find the corner of a wall real quick. Let's see where I want to set this up. It's sort of hard to set the camera up for this, but I think I'm going to try. Okay. Sorry, not a whole lot of options of corners that are free. Yeah, this will work. So for this chest stretch, I'm going to be putting my hands on the corner of the wall, lunging in. I'm going to try and squeeze my shoulder blades back in. Just like that. If I want to make this stretch more extreme, I can push up higher on the wall, which will be another one of my modifications. just like that. But I just want to come kind of lunge into the corner, push my shoulders back. This is a wall, I call it the wall lunge stretch, but that's for the chest. Moving on to another chest stretch. This is going to be one that you can do sitting or standing. I'm going to try and show you standing. So I'm going to clasp my hands behind me like that. Try and back up enough. This is another chest stretch. I'm going to clasp my hands behind me like so. I'm going to push out. I'm going to puff my chest. Normally I would hold this for 30 seconds, and you can do this sitting. Push out and puff. This is a chest stretch. Okay. Now I'm going to have some back stretches. Find the best spot to film. So this stretch, this at least more. I'm going to start out with my knees and feet together and my hands out to my sides. Both arms are going to be out to my sides. I'm going to roll with keeping my one foot on the ground to the left, and then I'm going to roll back to the right. It's easier if you get your knees higher up. I'm going to roll to the right, and roll to the left, and this is a stretch for the lower back. And right, and left, and so on and so forth. Try to increase that range of motion each time. Another back stretch. It's going to be laying here flat with one leg out. I'm going to bring this knee into my chest with one leg out, flat as I can get it. Just like that. A modification I had for both of these stretches would be to get on a bed or some raised surface if you had a mobility issue and couldn't be on the ground, because you should still be able to do this on probably a bed. You should be able to get the mobility. So next I have a shoulder stretch. I'm going to come. I apologize for my uncle's dog. Going to come through trying to find the best place to do this. Okay. I really do apologize for that dog. It's not mine. This is a shoulder stretch. I'm going to start with my arms, the 90-degree angle on the door. Later I'm going to push up to get the lower fibers of the arm. But yeah, I will start. This is a shoulder stretch. Hold for 30 seconds, just like this. And then switch to the upper fibers. Go ahead and take one step through the door, just like I did there. Just like that. You can do that stretch into a corner. It's easier. Next I have the cross arm shoulder stretch. You're just going to do just like so. Keep the elbow a little bit bent and pull across. This is a shoulder stretch. I don't know if I mentioned that. And then you would switch sides, generally after about 30 seconds. Elbows a little bit bent, cross arm stretch. A modification for this I found was if you're interested in reducing the scapular abduction and the IR, you can lay sideways on a bed and take the stretching arm sideways and overlay your other arm and pull over. That's also going to be in my written description. But you can lay sideways and pull like this, and it's proven to be a more effective stretch because it limits the abduction in the IR. So that moves us on to wrists. Stretch for the wrist flexor. I'm going to go ahead and put the hand out like the stop sign, just like that. If you need to make it easier, you can ball up like this. I'll show you like this. Put the hand out like the stop sign and pull back. This will stretch your wrist flexors. For another modification, you can also push on a wall or something along those lines. Wrist extensor, similar but different. Stop sign, down, and that can be the stretch, or you can curl your fingers in to make it more difficult. Curl and pull. But if you need to modify, make things easier, can't be like that, can't be like that, can't be like that. Just whatever makes you feel that stretch right there in your extensor. So that leaves us at a penguin stretch, which hopefully people aren't making noise in my living room. Those last two stretches for the wrist, I think I mentioned, but I want to make sure. I'm going to try and film just in the hall then. Okay. So this will be the penguin stretch. For the glutes, to modify this stretch, you can prop your front leg up on a pillow or something of that nature, make it easier. But this is going to be your penguin stretch, and you will switch sides. Brings us to seated twist. Try and be out of everyone's way. A seated twist. This is here. Forward. Put leg out straight. Bring one leg over the other. And just go. Elbow over knee. And twist. That's going to be another. That's going to be another glute stretch. So you're going to do leg over, twist. This is a twist stretch, or seated twist, as I've heard it called. If your elbow doesn't reach, you can pull at the thigh, just like this. And that way, if you can't get this or don't want this, if you don't want that level of intensity, this is an option. Okay. That brings us to hamstring and the forward fold stretch, which is simply this leg's going to, for me at this moment, this leg's going to come in. Obviously going to do both legs. This leg's going to go straight out. Point my toes back at myself, and I'm going to reach forward and touch my toes. And I'll do that on both sides. So, and fold at the hip. So you shouldn't be like, you should be at the hip. It's easier for you to, however it's easier for you to fold right there at that joint. And only there. This can be done standing. In that case, you would just basically reach for your toes. Still the same hamstring stretch. Right, so that brings us to a calf stretch. Try and get good footage here. Okay. So I'm going to lunge into this. Yeah. Actually, I think I can get you a better filming angle than this. I don't know if that was better. Okay. I'm going to place both my hands on the wall. This is a calf stretch. I'm going to put one foot forward, bring this other foot back until I find a good spot to stretch it at. I'm going to lean into the wall. I'm going to do both sides. I'm going to do this for 30 seconds on each side. And there's a modification too, where I can't even show it to you right now, but you can effectively, well, it's kind of hard to get that right. Well, anyhow, you can step directly into the wall for a modification on this one. I know we don't have to show the modifications, it's just easier for me, because I already kind of wrote them out. Okay, that brings us down to hands. Oh, you know what? I left my rubber band, of course, in the original room. I have it now. So I'll be using this for one of my hand stretches, not the first one, but I wanted to have it. Okay. So first I'm going to start with finger stretches. This is going to be for the webbing of your fingers, so hands. But basically you're going to have your hand just like this, and you're going to separate. And you're just going to quickly, you don't have to hold this. There's a modification available where you can, but you're just going to separate whichever way is easiest for you. If you like using your finger and thumb, separate. If you like using kind of like that, whatever works. Just a quick separation. You should feel the stretch right down here. And then you can hold it for longer if you need that level of intensity. It's an option, but for me, it's going to be quickly just extend and move on. But that's a potential modification. Last, certainly not least, for hands again, I have rubber band extensions. Put this rubber band on the tips of your fingers and just extend and contract. Extend and contract. You don't have to go all the way. Really, whatever's comfortable, whatever works. A modification for this could be a less tight band, maybe even something easier to move, like a hair scrunchie, something along that avenue, so that it doesn't what's the term, like overdo it. You certainly wouldn't want to hurt yourself or try and overextend in that realm. So there you have it. Those are my stretches. I'm terribly sorry about the dog. He's not mine. He's a roommate's, and that was definitely very loud. So I'm sorry about that. Have a good one, Professor. Adios.